Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to the Medicare Space live show. My name is Victoria Cabrera, and we have a sit-in today to the right
God,
of.
they already saw your face.
The face reveal. Desiree Castro.
Desiree Castro. She is replacing Miss Sylvia Toscano because Miss Sylvia Toscano is out of commission today.
Yes.
So-
we miss her. I miss her the most. but-
Sylvia, come back.
Okay, let's not go there.
I miss her
About
the
who
most.
misses her the most.
Oh,
It's because I'm her favorite.
No, we all know who her favorite is. She's sitting on the other side of the room.
true. Be me. I mean, come on.
Okay, well, Victoria too.
Yeah. I think I'm the favorite. here.
She's the fan favorite.
Mhm.
She's Sylvia's favorite. That's true.
I'm the OG favorite.
That's true. They've been friends for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And next to Miss Desiree Castro, who do we have the pleasure of sitting next
Oh,
to today?
shoot.
A-Rod, back, classy, sassy, and the little badassy.
Oh, I like that.
That was a good one. I wasn't
one.
too sure if I was going to say that last part, but it's okay. We're all grown ups.
Did you practice that?
So no, but I was talking to Lorenzo over the weekend. I was like, oh my God, Victoria's always like, what are you going to say? Or how are you going to introduce yourself during the show? So I was like, I got to come up with something. And I watched something on TV and it came into my head. It just popped out of nowhere. And I said it jokingly. And then I hadn't thought about it till today. And then I was like, I'm just going to say it.
That's
Dang.
good. Classy, sassy, and a little badassy.
I
I,
think
true.
we need to create one now.
like
She
that.
showed us up.
I like it.
So
Oh,
I
that's
just
a good
say
one.
see if Sylvia
Victoria.
Toscano can beat that one.
Victorious.
Mm. So for those of you that are watching back, don't steal that from Miss A-Rod, classy, sassy, badass, a little
That's right.
badassy.
I'm going to put it up on the
We're going to
shirt.
put that on her business card.
Yeah.
Well, we are here this Friday, every Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. My Wi-Fi is acting a little up, so hopefully they are seeing us and we're not getting choppy and our sound is good. But what's up? What's going on with you guys? I know that Sylvia is out. She's been out. Was she here last week?
Yeah, she
Yes,
was here.
she
Yes,
was
she was here
here.
last week.
She was here last
It
week.
just seems like a
Yes.
while for us because she hasn't been in the office all week.
Ah,
true.
And
She
usually we'll
hasn't.
see her like 2 times a week at
Mhm.
least.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
So are you guys? So when do you go back to school for summer? When?
August 10th. They go back early this year.
Well, I
Yeah.
thought it was like 3 months of summer. What's going on?
Whoa.
Oh,
so-
They're
so
making up them days.
3 months of summer. I remember. I think
Right? It used to be like 3.
I
It
feel
used to
like
felt
I-
like 3 months.
I used to get.
It would be like the end of
Oh.
August is when we would go
Yeah,
back to school.
I would always go back around like the 20th to 30th.
20th or 30th.
Like
of-
20 to 30th. That's when I would go back.
because when do y'all grad? Like when does graduation typically happen? Like May.
like in May.
Okay.
May to, yeah.
Oh, okay. You're not in.
I was though.
in high school.
We were all
I
in high school,
graduated
but you're not no more.
last year.
Does it feel like that long since you've been out of school?
No.
No.
No, yes, it does. Because I wasn't in-person schools for like since my junior year.
Oh wait, you were the.
Yeah.
she's a
so
COVID.
She's
I,
a COVID graduate.
I only
Yeah.
went to high school freshman like 2 full years and then
Mm.
2 years and a half. And then the other year and a half, I was all online.
Mm. So did you do a COVID graduation?
No, I had a real graduation.
Oh, you did.
And so it was so weird because we hadn't been to school in a year and a half.
Mhm.
So we didn't all see each other. So when we were at graduation, everyone's like, oh, this was literally the first time we all saw each other.
Yeah.
I was like, they still go here?
You're like.
I was like, whoa.
These little scallywags.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And then Brooke, when do you graduate? May 20th of this next year.
Oh, yeah. This
And when do
year.
you graduate, Adriana?
I graduate next year.
Wow. Youngin.
When I used to work at the gym, Lorenzo would get so irritated because I was like, babe, do you think I look my age? And he's like, yeah, you look your age. And I'm like, no, I don't. And then, okay, maybe it was because they were hitting on me or something, but they'd be like, oh my God. They would be like, oh, what are you going to do this weekend? And I'd always be like, oh, hang out with my kids. And my husband, they're like, kids? You have kids? I'm like, oh, yes, I have 3 kids, or I had 2 kids at the time. And I'm like, well, how old do I look? They're like, oh, you look 20. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh.
Well, when I was 20, people say, "Oh, you're old." Like when you were 20. Now I'm like, oh my God, that's so young.
What do you mean you're
No.
old?
Like when I was 20, like in
Mama,
my
You say that
20.
about 30-year-old people. You say they're old, Desiree.
It's not my fault. You are older than me.
I
Wait,
tell
I'm
her
just
she's
kidding.
gonna be old one day too.
No,
like
I'm not.
us.
Good morning. I think it's Dennis, right? I think I'm getting that right. Put a thumbs up if it's Dennis. Good morning, Dennis. How are you doing?
I'm not gonna be old.
Well, you're not going to be old?
Nope.
Oh,
I'm
man.
not gonna get old.
You know what? I'll be honest. It flies by. Like, can you believe
Yeah, I
20
know. I can't
years
wait to
from
laugh
when
at
I
her.
moved to San Antonio? Almost 22 years since I've been here in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I hope you guys are doing well. Those of you that are listening in today, listening in later, I hope that your weekend is off to a great start this Friday. Every Friday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. I know our viewership is going to be low because half my family is at Jellystone right now, and I'm sure they don't get a lot of
Aw.
service.
Oh,
We get a lot of support, and everybody in the summer seems to be on vacations and doing all their good stuff. Do you guys have anything planned for vacation, or did you already do y'all's vacay?
I don't know. We might do another one. We'll see. I'm going with my sister today, so
I'll be on
the very last
vacation.
minute sometimes.
It says, ladies, I started my week health pre-license. Oh, okay, nice. You're starting your health licensing class. Could you explain very quickly what the donut hole and catastrophic coverage sting is? Yes, we can. Good morning, Claudia. How are you doing? So the donut hole is basically something that somebody that's on original Medicare and not original Medicare, prescription drug coverage, whether it's through a Medicare Advantage plan or a prescription drug plan. And so there's different stages of the prescription drug program. And this is not related to employer sponsored coverage. It's only related to prescription drug coverage within the Medicare plan. So Medicare Advantage, Medicare, PDP, which is standalone prescription drug plans. And how that works is you have these stages. So you have your deductible stage, initial coverage stage, coverage gap, and catastrophic stage, right? The donut hole is this weird area, right? So think of a donut, right? And when you first start out on a prescription plan, each beneficiary is allowed a certain amount of drug coverage. So let's say it's $4,500 or whatever. I forget what it is for this year. Then every time they pay a copay. So one, they have to meet their deductible if there is one. And then the copays kick in. So if they pay $47 copay, $75 copay, $2 copay. But what happens is the true out-of-pocket cost of that drug will go towards that kind of allowance that the client gets. And so what happens is every time they purchase the drug, it deducts from that amount. Once they reach that initial coverage stage, then they go into what's called the coverage gap, which is the donut hole. And in the gap, they are required to pay the 25% of the cost of the actual drug. So let's use Eliquis for an example. Eliquis is a very expensive drug. Let's say it's $500 every time you fill. The client is responsible to pay 25% of the cost of the drug. So the donut hole is not actually a great thing for the client because a lot of people that are taking very expensive medications, if they fall into the donut hole, that's why they call it the hole, the coverage gap, because there's not a ton of coverage during that time. So they're responsible to pretty much pay a co-insurance, which is 25%.
There is a lot of programs that could help during that time. Like what is it? Good RX. And then other programs that would help during that time. So that way they're not paying.
You can use
cost.
Canadian pharmacies. You can use some of the discount card. We don't promote GoodRx anymore because I think they're selling their data to Medicare Advantage companies. So, so there's other companies that we're going to be trying to use.
It's funny because I just saw a commercial for them this past weekend. And normally they wouldn't advertise, right? Like, but now I guess they're trying to get it out there. And so there was this one guy who was on Medicare and he's like, and I'm on Medicare. And so it was like different people in different situations trying like add this commercial for GoodRx. So that's funny that you say that.
So there's those companies like GoodRx. I mean, that's still, if it's going to save you money, use GoodRx. Just know that your data possibly is being sold to other companies. So just keep that in mind. And then also there's like the Canadian pharmacies that you can use as long as you have a prescription, right? And then there's also the Extra Help program through Social Security Administration if you meet the income requirements. There's a ton of programs out there, but who usually gets the short end of the stick is the people like those middle income earners that make a little, they don't make enough, but they make it too much. But if it's like a cancer drug or some new drug that's on the market, typically you can go directly through the manufacturer. But yeah, to answer the question, the donut hole is basically this gap specifically towards Medicare prescription drug coverage. And in that gap, they're required to pay that 25% of the cost of that drug. So depending on what pharmacy they go to, they're going to pay the percentage based on what that pharmacy is going to charge them.
Yeah. And sometimes I have a lot of clients who their medication's not covered on any of the formularies. So we make them aware of that when they're coming into a Medicare Advantage plan. And a lot of them, I'll ask them, that's one of our questions is, how are you getting your medications right now? Like, how are you paying for it? Because this is like really expensive. And so they'll tell me, oh, I go directly through the manufacturer, the program that I participate in. So a lot of times the doctors, if it's a good doctor, will help them set that up or put them in contact with that person, and it will help them pay for the medication as well. Sometimes you do have to put in a little legwork, so it's not going to be like easy peasy.
Lemon squeezy.
I was about to so it does require a little bit of legwork, and I think that's the biggest misconception. So like when we're getting requests for information about these programs, a lot of them are just like, why do they make it so hard? And it's like, well, they're giving you money. They're not just going to be like, oh, here's the money. Like, no big deal. You have to do some work for it. Like if you're wanting some help, you're going to have to do a little bit of work. So being patient in the process and knowing that nothing comes easy, and trusting that whoever's helping you in the process knows what they're talking about.
They're going to be like, you forgot to follow your paperwork. The Monsters Inc.
Monsters Inc. Yeah.
I
I got too many nieces and nephews. Okay.
Yeah,
but
it's a funny movie.
Me and Chris,
I love that movie.
You forgot. Yeah. Yeah. So Adriana's right. A lot of the times there are people that qualify for these extra programs, but they don't have, and we do run into people that can't really read. They can't, they don't have that, capability to actually read the actual document. And we do run across a lot of that. So we try to help as much as we can, either with paperwork. I want to say paperwork, or online. I don't know why I gotta say it like that. Or online with their extra help and other things. So we try our hardest. It's a little hard when you're not right in front of them, but we do want to help as much as we can. And obviously some of the medical groups that we partner with, they do have those resources as well. So we're just kind of a community of resources when it comes to specifically those types of things. So to the long answer, right, Dennis, the long answer to your question was the donut hole is basically, it's not necessarily the best. Now, I will say, prior years, it used to be 40%. It went down to 25%. So it's been going down. I don't know that it'll go any lower than that, because 25% is comparable to what a tier 5 drug typically is. Speaking of tiers, tier levels are specifically to drug coverage. So tier 1 being in most cases the lowest cost for drugs, and tier 5 being those specialty drugs, which is usually the most expensive. Not everybody will reach the donut hole. So specifically to Medicare Advantage plans or prescription drug coverage, not everybody will reach the donut hole. The only time somebody will most likely reach the donut hole would be those expensive drugs, especially insulin, which there are programs for the insulin program specifically, but like those really, really expensive, like rheumatoid arthritis drugs, cancer drugs. I mean, those cancer drugs are super expensive. Heart medication. I mean, there's a ton of them out there.
Yeah, it's just a matter of being a little bit patient, both on the agent side and I think the client side, right? So you kind of brought up something for me as far as, you get those people that are really hard-headed and can be a little sassy. Right.
Ooh,
and so you're just like, oh my gosh, I want to help you so bad, but you're not understanding. And honestly, those are some of probably my favorite clients that at first came off really, really harsh. But those are the ones you have to be extra patient with, because honestly, they're scared. They don't know what they're doing. They're really confused. They get a lot of phone calls, and just kind of having the patience and knowing that at the end of the day, like letting them know, like, hey, I'm here to help you. You can either choose to work with me or work with somebody else. Like that choice is up to you. I really love what our rep from the carrier we had the meeting the other day said. You know, it's just like your bank. You have your bank, you have your, you know, so like choose. There's so many agents out there. So just trust that whoever you're going to go and work with, trust that person. So don't call 1-800 numbers. Don't call another agent. Like trust that that person that you're working with is going to help you from start to finish.
Unless it's our 800 number at 866-717-8683. You're going to get one of those beautiful young ladies right here.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I really love that she said that. It really stuck with me and it's true. And I kind of always say that to them. Like, you know, I tell them, I'm like, I'm not going to force you to do anything. I'm not that type of agent. Like either you choose to work with me or you choose to work with them. That's completely up to you. And I think that's really important, like forming that relationship with them too.
Yeah. And you're really good at answering your phone and all that good stuff.
Yeah, she is.
We'll be trying to take a happy hour. She's like, hold on my phone. I'm like, no.
I know. We'll be at a restaurant. We're like, oh, I'm like,
here we go again.
No.
I think for me, the reason why I'm like that is because I have a really strong customer service background and we had really, really high standards and I dealt with extremely difficult situations and people. And so it really taught me to really be where I'm at now. So I'm thankful for that. You know, I was talking to my husband about that yesterday. I'm like, gosh, I worked so hard and I didn't get to the level I wanted to in my last job for, you know, political reasons, you know, how the corporate world is. But it paid off here. Like Victoria trusts me and I've been able to be offered opportunities that are amazing. So for me, it's like, don't ever think your hard work's not going to go, you know, unnoticed. Just continue, keep going, keep moving day by day. So that for me is probably why customer service is so important.
Yeah. And you're really good at that. You're really great. Good morning, everybody that's listening in today. Thank you so much for joining in this lovely Friday. As you can see, Sylvia basically had a reverse age.
She's like Benjamin Button.
She's a Benjamin Button. So
that's accurate. She's about as fair as she is.
Yeah, I am. Just have darker hair.
You're like you're Sylvia's. You're the 1960. Wait, when was Sylvia? I'm not gonna say. Whoa. That's stuff.
Calm down there.
Talk about
1980s.
If you know,
she's gonna cancel you.
So Sherry Taylor asked, if you know a person will enter the donut hole, what product do you offer them? That is a great question. So what we normally do is when we're using the tools, like, you're welcome, Dennis. You know, when you're using tools, hey, what's up, Eric, Claudia, Sherry, when you're using tools like for the donut hole to find out. So when we plug, and that's why it's so important, guys. Like if you're an agent, and you guys that are listening are good because you're listening in and you want to learn more and to get better for your people. Or if you're a senior, you want to learn for your specific plan. But as agents, we have access to tools, specifically technology. There's so much technology through a lot of the tools that we have that are making it easier and easy for us to not make mistakes in the field.
Amen.
That being said, it's so important when you ask all of their medications and not just the medications they're taking now, but when's the last time you met with your doctor and are they going to be looking to put you on any new medications? Because that's important too. So when we put all the drugs in, right, you plug in all the drugs, the milligrams, how often they take them, all that good stuff. It's going to tell you from January or from whenever you plug them in from that date to the end of the year, because we work in a calendar year, right? The donut hole is calendar year. So when you plug in those drugs and it calculates, it's going to tell you at what tier level, how much the drug is, and whether or not they're going to hit the donut hole. And, you know, if they are going to hit the donut hole, but let's say, Sherry, that they do, right? Let's say in July, it says, wow, they're going to hit the donut hole in July. What I would recommend is any lower cost medications, if they don't qualify for extra help, if they don't qualify for any assistance, any lower cost medications that are within those tier 1 or tier 2, I would recommend not using the insurance for those. I know a lot of people are gonna be like, what do you, I would recommend not to use the insurance for those. Pay those out of pocket, $10, $15, $20, because keep in mind, the donut hole, how it works is the total cost of that drug will deduct from their allowance, right? Yes. So even though the client is only possibly paying $10 or $20, that drug might be $100 out of pocket, right? But they can get discounts typically from the pharmacies for those generic drugs.
Mhm.
So save your allowance for those drugs. But the thing is, as soon as you give the insurance card to the pharmacy, they're always going to charge the
Yeah.
insurance. So either one, you got to go to a different pharmacy for those drugs, or two, you can't really, I mean, you can't get around it.
And this kind of ties into what I wanted to talk to you about today is being kind and showing understanding and kindness, because when you have a demeanor of kindness, people are more like they're going to be more amped to help you. Like, you know,
Yeah.
they're going to want to help you. And so like, for example, a pharmacy, like I don't go to the pharmacy very much, but one time I went to go pick a prescription and they ran it differently because they thought that running through my insurance would cost me more. And it was like, I was like, oh, well, I only paid $5 for it last time. They're like, oh, really? Because normally, so they were basically trying to help me out and save me money.
Yeah.
And so I think that really trying just to maintain really good relationships with those people that are in positions to maybe go out of their way. Sometimes people go out of their way to help you. You just never know. So I think just always being like having a good relationship, I guess, is my point. Being friendly and understanding is really going to make people go out of their way to help you as well. I mean, people can be crappy to me. I'm probably still going to go out of my way to help them because it's just I won't sleep at night. But like most people, you know, when you're nice to them, they're more, you know, they're going to help you. They're going to go out of their way.
And we're speaking on the client level. Like if you're a consumer talking to the other side of the counter. That's great advice. Cause you know, I know you seniors out there get frustrated and impatient and you're like, da, 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 da. And I get it. Cause who isn't upset these days with everything going up? Right.
Yeah.
But if you just patient and like Adriana said, sometimes you got to put on your little
happy face
sometimes. But another thing, Sherry, is that you can do like tactical things, right? Like sometimes figure out, and I do this with clients too. So if I see that they're going to hit the donut hole, or at least I used to, I'm really not in the field that often. But if when I was in the field, I'd say, okay, look, these two drugs are putting you in the donut hole and you're going to hit the donut hole in September. But by just carving out some of the other drugs and saying, hey, these are really not that expensive. If you pay some of these out of pocket, you're kind of saving some of that allowance for these more expensive drugs. And when we would do that, it would buy them time, a 2 or 3 more months within the year. If that was not a possibility, they have the capability to going through Canadian pharmacies. You can do this online with there's a ton of them out there, and you can find out if that particular drug. Now you can't do narcotics. They don't. If they're on pain meds, it ain't gonna happen. But there's eye drops. There's a lot of drugs out there. Eliquis, some of the heart medications out there. Those super expensive drugs. You can go through the Canadian pharmacies, and that does not go to your donut hole because they don't charge the insurance. You're paying out of pocket. So there's a lot of different ways. Now, if that's not an option, the last resort, or maybe even the first resort, would go to your doctor and say, hey, I'm in the donut hole. There's no way I can afford this. Is there any possibility? Do you have samples that would last me till the end of the year?
Yes.
If they don't, then, there's always ways. Call your agent. And we sometimes are the bearer of bad news, right? We can't always be, what do you call it? Like we can't always solve every single problem, but at the very least, we can give you tips and tricks on how to.
Another one that just came out, I sent it to my mom and my sisters about a month ago, and I meant to tell you about it. Mark Cuban just had like a pharmacy online.
Mark Cuban.
Yeah. So basically what he does is and I'm probably going to chop this up. I have to look more into it, but I think he goes directly through the pharmaceutical companies, or I can't remember how, but basically the cost is a lot lower. So I think that would be another good thing, that we can look into as far as those programs go. But that's really a good question, because that's probably when you're looking at your medical plan, that's probably some of your more expensive things that you're dealing with is your medications.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think more so than not, like 95% of my clients are on medications that are really expensive. The other 5% are new to Medicare. They're not on a lot of medications.
Yeah.
They're maybe on 1 or 2. So they're not really dealing with that donut hole. But for the most part, a lot of people are. And so it's good for us to be able to provide them with different resources and for them to do their research as well, to see if it's a good fit for them.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
Yeah.
when you meet with us, we do ask a lot of questions. And I always say it's not because we're being nosy. It's because the more questions I feel like your agent asks you, the more they're going to be able to do a better job at aligning you with the right product. Now, again, it's impossible to bypass the donut hole in many cases. And sometimes is you're just, I mean, I hate to be the one that says it, but you're just going to have to eat the cost. Now, we never recommend not to stop taking a medication.
No.
And you'll be surprised when you hear those stories like, oh, people have to choose whether they eat or take their medication. These
Yeah.
stories are true.
Mhm.
Now, the good news is here in San Antonio, we have a lot of local resources with the food bank. And in fact, I need to talk with Magoli, because I know she was mentioning that she has some connections with some of the local people, possibly getting the food bank on here. Because the San Antonio Food Bank, and of those of you in Texas, go to your local food bank. If you have one, especially in the bigger cities, Dallas, Austin, Corpus, San Antonio, Houston, all of these cities have food banks. And the thing with the food banks is they don't only offer food. There's a lot of resources that they do. Like, did you know the San Antonio Food Bank has a whole division where these individuals are helping people apply for Medicare, Medicaid, low income, all these programs. They'll check to see if you qualify for food stamps. In addition, they'll see if they'll tell you where the local pantries are. So there's no sense in going hungry because you have to pay your medications. And this is real stuff, guys, right? I'm not like, oh, Victoria's being fear mongering. No, this is real stuff. This is stuff that we run into every single day.
Literally every day. Our clients
There's a lot of
saying
resources out there.
They don't have food to eat, or they don't have enough money to buy food for the rest of the month, and their Social Security check doesn't come until the middle of the month. So no, yeah, you're right. A lot of our clients.
There's resources with CPS to help you with your light bill. There's resources with SAWS to help you with your water bill. Some some internet companies help with internet cost. But again, it's not going to be like just given to you. You have to apply for it and go through the whole process. Sometimes it's tedious, but they'll help you. So there's resources if people take advantage of them.
Yeah, and Desiree is really good at looking all that kind of stuff. Like she's going to be out in the field soon. Oh yes, right? You're going to be out in the field.
Y'all see my face out there.
She's going to be going out there meeting
my
with
happy
you guys.
Place.
We're going to get you with those happy face shirts.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you just tuned in, we were talking about specifically the Medicare prescription drug donut hole, which is a great topic. Thank you so much, Dennis, for bringing it up, and Sherry for asking that wonderful question. These are questions that we face every single day with clients, and a lot of people still don't know how it quite works because things are always changing. It's understandable. But the last thing we don't want you to do, or the thing that you should not be doing, is not asking for help. And I know it's hard because people are very prideful. They don't want to ask for help, or they feel like they're a burden to their family or friends or whatever. So just, make sure that you do ask, or at the very least, if you don't want to pick up the phone and ask your kids or ask your family, call your agent. Your agent typically taps into resources available within the community. Now, if your agent is not doing that, I would probably think twice, because as agents, our job is not only to enroll you into a health insurance plan, is we should know a little bit about local resources, federal resources available to you that could possibly help you.
It was actually an AHIP.
It was, what's that?
It's an AHIP.
It's an AHIP. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you're not reading AHIP, then that's the first problem. So thank you guys so much for always joining in. Sometimes we're laughing and cracking up and making jokes, but a lot of times, the goal is to provide some type of value, whether it's laughing, cracking jokes, making you smile, giving you some education, any type of value that we can bring you. Obviously, Sylvia's not here today, so Desiree is filling in, which she always does so wonderful. What do you guys think? Put a little thumbs up.
This is my third show I've been on.
Oh, right? Yeah. Third show. Is that how many times Sylvia has been out?
Yes. My friends always ask me, because I make them watch the Medicare Space live show. Not the ones with me in it, but like the most recent ones. They're like, were you ever in it? I'm like, yeah, I was.
You missed it. So let us know what you guys are doing this summer. I'm curious to see where you guys are going to be at, what you're going to be doing. Where are you listening from? What are you already because everywhere is different, right? Summer is not like summertime for like specific states Not everybody has. Like,
I think it's
summer.
pretty standard. I think some is just starts a little bit later and they go back to school later, or it starts sooner and they go back sooner. So I think it just varies.
We're
But
talking about
usually
summer.
it's pretty standard, I
Yeah.
think, throughout the United States.
I always
Ah.
wanted to go to year-round school.
Really? What do
Yeah,
you get?
you have a lot of breaks. You go to school for like a few weeks and then you're off, and then you go back for a month and then you're off, and then you go back for like 3 months and then you'll be off again.
Oh, I like that. Can we have year-round work? I kind of like that.
Ooh. But you
You're-
don't get summer and work.
Unless you're a teacher.
Oh yeah.
But even at that, you got to work during summer school if you're a teacher sometimes.
to make
I'd be
that
like,
extra
I'm
buck.
not doing summer school.
Yeah, that would suck, man.
But
I
you
remember-
make extra money. That's why
No.
they do it.
Yeah. So some of them. So the way that it works, I know your sister's a teacher, but I had some teacher friends. So that basically they can choose to not work during the summer, and basically they can have some of their monies distributed throughout the summer, so they're constantly getting paid.
Mm.
That's what I would
But you
do.
have a lot of teachers too who pick up like extra activities like drama
Oh,
club,
yeah.
and so they get paid extra to do that too as well.
Mm.
So it just depends too on the school district, I think.
I think that's like maybe the one benefit to being a teacher is like the schedule. You get spring break, winter
get-
break,
weekends.
weekends.
You get weekends off.
Unless you got Saturday school.
Unless you got.
Ooh.
Oh, unless the parents are being, you know what?
Oh,
Well, unless
there's
you're
a
like
lot of downfalls to being a teacher.
unless you're like a newbie and they're like, you have Saturday school on Saturday.
Oh
Mm.
'Cause
no,
you're the newbie.
I'm gonna start
Aw.
implementing Saturday work
You
days.
should for the newbies.
Come on.
What other questions you guys have related to Medicare? We love to answer questions. If most of the time we will have the answer. If we don't, we will always tell you. But most of the time we have the answer. What do y'all think?
Pretty
Right?
much.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm super excited because we're going to be former teacher. Oh yeah, Sherry's former teacher.
Aw.
That's what it. Not what it's cracked up to be. Trust me. No. Well, okay. Here's where I agree with that. Well, number
Yeah.
one,
The pay.
we manage a few of some agents, right?
Yeah.
And it's like adult babysitting sometimes.
Pretty
Yeah.
Now I loved if you're the agents with us, we love you. But some
If
of you
don't get it, you only get offended if it's you.
yeah, you only get offended if it's
Ooh,
That's
exactly.
what I tell my kids. That's what I tell everybody. I'm like, if you get offended, that's probably because it's about you, and it's true.
I heard teachers have like their own little drama.
So Sherry, tell
So
us
the teacher tea.
I like that should be a
The
podcast.
teacher tea.
The teacher tea.
Ooh.
Ooh, there's probably
would-
something out there.
They
already.
would
Yeah,
always
probably.
say how like they would have their own drama. And then
Yeah.
they would have to deal with the drama at the high school with the kids, but they had their own drama.
like
I always
between the
wondered what it
teachers.
was.
We're gonna start a podcast called the Teacher Tea, and I'm
Oh my
gonna
God.
have my sister. My sister's been a teacher as well, quite a long
Yeah.
time, and yeah, she's always every time I go, she has something. Whether it's the parent, whether it's some
Mhm.
kid acting up.
I had two scandals. So at my sister's school, one of the teachers started dating a parent right after they got divorced. It was this whole thing.
Oh,
Yeah. And then at my sister's middle school, one of the teachers and then the other teachers, they started dating too. And then they tried to keep it secret, but it came out.
Oh, Teacher Tea.
Teacher tea.
No business.
Sherry, let's hear some. It doesn't have to be drama, but let's hear some obstacles that
Yeah.
you have faced.
Some obstacles of the
Let's
teachers.
hear some obstacles you faced during being a
So are
teacher.
God bless
Oh,
teachers.
Yeah, I know.
Because like, yeah, you're right. It's literally like babysitting adults. It's like, you should know better. Like, why are you not doing this? Like, why are you not acting right? And I'm not talking about toddlers. I'm talking like middle school, high school kids.
Oh,
like,
high school kids.
because like, why?
I don't know.
Why are you
Yeah.
acting like that? Like, just come to
would die.
school,
Well-
do your work, and go home.
If I become president one day, not that I ever want to be, but if I ever do,
President Victoria.
I didn't have drama. I didn't like spending my money on student programs. I didn't. Yeah.
On
Oh
student
yeah. My
programs.
sister spends a lot of her own money on
It's
stuff.
sad because they don't
Oh,
give them that much money
yeah.
to begin with. So now these poor teachers that don't make very much money to begin with have to buy their own supplies for the school.
Yeah, I know
Mhm.
my sister when she left because she went from being a teacher to like teaching the teachers. I don't know if I don't know
Like,
what that's
yeah.
called, but so she's no longer teaching students, she's teaching teachers. And so for when I got the office, she gave me all her school supplies. She's like, girl, keep it. I bought all this. I'm like, Dan, pencils, pens,
Yeah, we have a
erasers."
lot of them.
Yes.
Thank you.
And
Galore.
then kids steal it.
Oh, really? Why?
Yes. Well, I don't know. They just put it in their backpack and take
Like
it.
for pencil fights?
I know. I was used to,
Remember
I,
pencil fight?
that was
Pencil
never a
fights.
thing when I was in
You
school.
don't know what a pencil fight is?
What is it?
Oh my God, pencil fights.
What
I know
is
what
Where
it
are
it?
is.
the pencils? You get a pencil like this.
And then the other person goes like
And then
this
goes-
until they break it.
and then whoever breaks their pencil first
What?
wins.
Yeah.
Oh my God. We're going to do a pencil fight. We got a ton of them. Thanks, Julia.
Yeah.
Thanks
Was-
for our
you.
pencils.
Was it inside of your desk clean or not clean?
Mine?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I don't think I had those kinds of desks. Oh, yeah, I did.
I did in elementary, but that's the only
We would
time.
get the glue and we'd smear it all over the thing, and then we'd like scrape it off like that.
My desk was always messy.
Well, yeah, I can see right there too.
Yeah. That hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Now I got a filing cabinet though.
If they wanted a pencil or anything from me, they had to give me a shoe
Wait,
for.
the camera.
Uh-oh, the
Oh.
camera. If they wanted a pencil for anything, they had to give me their shoe for collateral.
Oh,
Guys,
yeah. That my parents. I mean, my
Oh,
parents.
that's a good
My
one.
teachers would make us do that too.
Well, our camera just went out.
Well.
Mm.
Okay.
Did it go out? Did it go out? I think the batteries did. Oh, wow.
Aw.
We're going to have to cut this one short, guys. We are so sorry that our camera battery died. I guess we recorded too much content yesterday, I suppose. But we got to talk about the donut hole. We got to talk about everything else about Medicare prescription drug coverage. We got to talk about the teacher T, right? We got to talk a little bit about that.
They
But-
don't want us to get into the insurance tea.
We don't want to get to the insurance tea, but thank
We'll
you
get
so much
canceled.
for joining in. I'm sorry that we're gonna have to get the second camera now for sure. I think I'm gonna have to replace the battery on this camera, but even better because then I get to leave earlier to be with my family at
That's
Jellystone.
true.
yeah.
They're all there waiting for you.
We're all there. If you're listening in, sorry about that, guys. I know it's happened once too many times. Why didn't I thought we plug this in? But anyway, guys, do y'all have anything else to have before we get off this show?
No.
Because it's not
Be
it's
kind. Be kind.
be kind to one
kind. I
another,
always
be
say that,
kind
be
to
kind.
teachers, be kind to your mom,
Pharmacist.
your pharmacist.
We're talking about the legal.
The legal one.
The legal one.
The legal ones, yes.
Yeah. Don't
Well,
misconstrued.
Hey, 30 40 minutes is good on the show. If you guys have any questions, please let us know. Oh, I like that, it rhymed.
Yes.
If you have any questions, 866-717-8683. Man, we're getting more viewers when it's dark, but they don't see our
Maybe they don't want to see our
faces.
face. Maybe they just want to hear our
We
voices.
scare them away.
They're like, what is this? I hear voices, but
I
don't
see
hear-
nothing.
I see dead people.
We should stay on for a little bit longer and see how much people will be here. Yeah. just for kick. We did
So
it last time.
we're doing a little test right now. Our camera died, and we want to see how many people can come on to our show and listen while the screen is black.
Okay,
I
so
wonder-
Brooke gets so triggered. I'm using their words. I'm using their vernacular.
Triggered.
This is a vernacular of the generation that's coming up now.
Vernacular.
And so she gets so triggered because I'm in the car driving to work. And first of all, this is my alone time. So she just happens to be in the car with me because I have to bring her to work. And I listen to podcasts. I love
my
podcasts.
God.
For me, it's like I want to learn as much as I can because you never know who you're going to meet and who you're going to talk to. And she's like, can we just listen to music? I'm
Every
like,
time I get in the
"No,
car with
I
Adriana, I'm
love-
like, can we listen to music?
This
And
is
we're
how-
listening to a murder podcast.
This is how you learn. Well, I don't just listen to murder podcasts. I listen to those in the morning, but I like listening to a lot of educational history podcasts about the past, just like different fun facts. That's my thing.
If they could hear only our voice, I wonder what they would think we look like.
Very seen it a ton of times.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. I wonder what they would think we'd look like if
Oh
they could
God!
only
But you
see our
can't ask a
voice.
question they've already know the answer to, Desiree.
Well, there would be new ones.
All right, guys. Well,
Adriana's
we
trying
are
to
going
cancel
to.
me.
We will see you on next Friday. We're going to see you guys next Friday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you so much for joining in this Friday. As always, we will see you next show with. I think I'm going to get another camera too. Get these little.
Oh, we're
Fix.
going to Best Buy.
We're going to Best Buy. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. We'll see you next Friday, and I hope you enjoyed the first 30 minutes of the show.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.